The anniversary gala was being live-streamed worldwide, cameras locked onto my face. The police read out an arrest warrant on the spot, accusing me of fraud, money laundering, and causing a fatal project collapse. The amount exceeded $100 million, enough to bury me in prison for the rest of my life. The board of directors stood up together, signing off on my immediate arrest. And the one accusing me was my husband, Ryan Blake. My name is Evelyn Carter. I live in the most expensive neighborhood in North Chicago. I am one of the co-founders of Blake Group. I am also his legal wife. Yet at this moment, I was being defined as the one who destroyed the company. Ryan stood center stage, calm and composed. His hand rested on Ashley, the newly promoted executive, smiling gently. He said I manipulated the company's cash flow and caused the project to collapse. He said my decisions led to an employee's death. He said I was the one who ruined everything. The giant screen displayed what they called a complete chain of evidence. Bank transfers clearly bore my name. Project reports were labeled as my decisions. There was even a copy of a supposed suicide note. The live stream flooded with comments demanding I pay with my life. I tried to speak. He raised his hand, signaling the police to step closer. Stop acting, Evelyn. If you confess now, your sentence might be lighter. Otherwise, you won't have a chance to recover. A wave of suppressed laughter spread through the crowd. Reporters pressed in, firing questions. Do you feel guilty for that employee's death? Did you intentionally manipulate the funds? Every word hit like a blade. The board watched coldly. Even my most trusted mentor stepped forward. She did make reckless decisions. I warned her about the risks long ago. That single sentence pushed me straight into the abyss. Behind me, the police unfolded the handcuffs. Cold metal glinted under the lights. The lawyers stepped forward and read out the charges. Major financial crimes combined with negligent homicide. The sentence could exceed 20 years. The entire room had turned against me. Everyone was waiting for me to break. But I smiled. My voice was eerily calm. Are you sure you want to arrest me now? I pressed the remote in my hand. The screen switched instantly. The full transaction trail of the so-called stolen funds appeared. It clearly led to Ashley's private account. The note read, Scapegoat Fund, Phase 1. The room fell silent for a second. Ryan's expression flickered, then steadied. Fabricating data isn't difficult. She's always been good at making things up. The crowd stirred again. Mockery returned. I didn't stop. I opened the second piece of evidence. The company's original server logs appeared. The transaction had been authorized by Ryan himself. The timestamp was precise to the millisecond, impossible to fake. I looked straight at him. Only two people know the authorization password. You and the CFO. Do you still want to say it was me? The CFO turned pale instantly, taking a step back without a word. For the first time, the room cracked. Ryan's voice dropped, edged with threat. Even so, you were involved. You're not getting away. I nodded. Double quotes. Yes, I was involved. Gasps erupted. The media thought I had confessed. Then I added quietly, I was involved in documenting all your crimes. The screen switched again. A hidden recording of the conference room. Ashley stood in front of a mirror, rehearsing her lines. I need to look more innocent. That's how the board will believe me, she smiled. As long as Evelyn is kicked out, Ryan will give me all the shares. The room exploded. Voices rose in chaos. Ryan shouted, that footage is illegal. It has no legal validity. I smiled faintly and opened the final file, an internal email sent by him. The subject line read, Scapegoat, Execution Plan. It detailed everything. How to create financial loopholes. How to forge decision records. How to frame me for the employee's death. how to publicly convict me during the live stream. The board stood up all at once. Some were already calling the police to verify. Ryan finally lost control. He rushed down to grab the device only to be restrained by officers. This time, he was the one being held down. I looked at him, my voice echoing through the hall. You thought today was your trial of me. This is the day I prepared for yours. I pressed the final button. The independent audit report went public. 3 years of embezzlement exposed. The amount far exceeded $100 million. The company's stock price crashed in real time. Trading systems triggered emergency alerts. Partners announced immediate withdrawal. Ashley collapsed to the floor, denying everything. But the profit-sharing agreement she signed was already displayed on screen. She had been involved from the very beginning. The police changed their stance instantly. They put handcuffs on Ryan. Flashes exploded everywhere. The live stream flipped completely, or she was framed. The CEO staged the entire scheme as Ryan was dragged away. He stared at me, voice trembling. When did you start? I met his eyes. The moment you first betrayed me. I paused. And you thought I was someone replaceable. Ashley was taken in for investigation. She was blacklisted from the industry. My mentor was suspended for perjury. The board voted in emergency session to remove Ryan from all positions. I became the largest shareholder, officially taking control of the company. The media swarmed me. Flashes burned my vision. Did you know all along? I stood under the lights and answered calmly. I just made sure the truth appeared on the most expensive stage. At that moment, viewership crossed 10 million. We trended #1 all night. And his life collapsed in that same second. Later, Ryan was convicted of financial crimes and sentenced to a long prison term. All his assets were frozen and liquidated. His companies were dismantled and restructured. Ashley was permanently blacklisted. No firm would ever hire her again. And I returned to the position that was always mine. I deleted every way to contact him, like deleting a piece of trash that should have been removed long ago. He once Sadie was nothing without him. Now he isn't even worthy of having his name mentioned beside mine.